Hello, and welcome to this video tutorial which explains the new Microsoft Excel integration functionality in HardDollar version 13. HD13 provides improved functionality for connecting to your data in Microsoft Excel, which enables users to more easily and efficiently build and manage projects. Some of the new features include the ability to import billing rates, create and save import templates, see changes in the PBS Changes register when data is imported from Microsoft Excel, import plug costs to CBS items, and link on job total fields. Let's explore each of these features. I'm going to start by opening my training job. We will first look at the ability to copy and paste billing rate data from Microsoft Excel into HardDollar. Many times billing rates for contractors vary from job to job, customer to customer, or over various time periods. It's helpful for users to be able to quickly get this information into HardDollar. Let's open our resource rate register. Select the Labor tab, and if we open the detail for one of our labor records, we can see that we have 3 different pay scales for this resource. Scroll to the right, and we can see the billing rate fields for any particular resource. In this particular view, I would be able to copy and paste billing rate data for this particular carpenter's apprentice, but I would not be able to copy and paste records for all of my labor resources at the same time. Let's look at the data I want to bring in. We can see in Excel I have a list of billing rates for my various classifications of labor on my job. Now let's open a register where I can copy and paste the data a little easier. Go to View and open the Resource Cost Details register. I've already created a saved view called Billing Rates Labor. Select that saved view. Here we can see a format that is a bit more conducive to copying and pasting data to multiple data resources at one time. You can use the register tools to filter and sort your data in any way that makes sense for the records you are importing from Excel. In this view, I've filtered on records where the resource type is labor and the scale is 1. In Excel, copy the data from the billing rate column onto the clipboard. In HD, paste the billing rate column. Click Yes when prompted. You can see the markup rate and markup percentage have been automatically calculated for each labor resource. Close the Resource Cost Details register. The next feature we will look at is the ability to define an import template for bringing information in from Excel. This is helpful when you import Excel data that is stored in various workbooks and across various formats. Import mappings can be defined in the CBS register as well as the job tracking register. In this example, we will look at updating our takeoff quantity data from a relatively simple workbook. Let's open that workbook. Note the unclassified excavation quantity of 49,865 cubic yards. Now, open the CBS register, and we can see that in our CBS register, unclassified excavation has a quantity of 50,000 cubic yards. To import the data, we go to Data Source, Import/Update CBS From, and select Excel. Next, we need to select the file that we're going to import. Be sure to have the Update Existing Items in addition to Adding New Items checkbox selected. Leave this checkbox unselected if you only want to import new items into the CBS. Click the Define Mapping button. Here we will identify the columns we want imported. Let's expand the Cost Item Identification category. And for our CBS position code, we'll select CBS number, column A. For description, we'll select description, column B. For forecast takeoff quantity, we'll select our quantity field, C. And for unit of measure, we'll select U of M, D. To save the mapping you've just defined, select the drop-down list labeled Settings and click the Save button. Select a name for your import mappings and click OK. To import the data in this file using this mapping, click OK, and then click Import. You will be prompted that we need to save the job. To continue, say yes. And we can now see that our CBS has been updated, and we can see that the unclassified excavation quantity is now 49,865 cubic yards. Another very useful feature is the ability to import plug costs. Let's say I want to add a few traffic control items to the job overhead CBS item with some preliminary plug costs. Let's look at the traffic control items that I have in my Excel sheet. We can see I've set up some basic items, quantities, units of measure, and their unit costs and total costs. Make note of the cost type column as indicating that these are plug costs. Now, let's look at our CBS register and see where those items will be imported to. CBS item 22.4 and all of its subordinates do not currently exist in the CBS. So as they are imported, we will need to make sure that the checkbox is selected to add CBS items to the register. And we can see here that they will be imported into our superior item 22 in 22.4 traffic control. So to do that, let's go to Data Source, Import Update CBS from, Excel. We will need to select the file that we're going to import, which is going to be traffic control plug numbers. Click Open. Now we need to define our mapping. Open the Cost Item Identification section, and let's check that the column names are mapped to the appropriate column headers. So our CBS numbers are CBS position code. Description is mapped to description. Quantity is mapped to quantity. Unit of measure is mapped to unit of measure. Good. Now let's expand the Cost Item Labels, Tags, and Assignments section. And we can see we're going to have to set one of the items in here. Our cost source item is going to need to tell hard dollar what type of cost this is. And since our column of cost type in our workbook indicates that this is going to be a plug cost, we'll select this. Finally, we'll need to set up the Cost Item Plug Costs section, and we'll identify each of the traffic control items as a subcontracted price item. So find the subcontract price and map that to the total column. At this point, you can save the mapping if you like. Now we import the data by clicking Import. Again, you are prompted to save the job. We'll click Yes. And we can see now in our CBS that we have 4 new items added. One superior item, 22.4 traffic control, and the 2 barricades and the changeable message board items that we had seen in the Excel sheet. If I open any of these items, we can see that they've been set up as plug costs. The PBS change register is a great way to quickly see the impact changes have to the overall price of a project. In HD13, users now have the same visibility into the price impacts of changes made through importing data from Excel. Let's look at an example. First, open the PBS change register. HD tells us the change register is not on and prompts us to turn on the PBS register. Select No because I want to show you later how to do that manually. Notice the log changes in the PBS change register. Your particular job may not have any changes logged if you have not previously used this feature. Next, I'm going to open my Excel workbook and make a change to one of the plug prices. Let's say I believe I can get the changeable message boards for $30 a day instead of $50 a day that I originally used. Let's make the change to that plug price and save and close the workbook. Remember that in hard dollar, I left the PBS changes log disabled. I'll need to turn it back on to see the changes logged. To do this, open Job Properties, select the Cost Basis tab, and check the Activate PBS Changes Log option. Click OK. Now go into the CBS and re-import the data. Go to Data Source, Import Update CBS From, select Excel, and we already have the correct import file selected. Now let's click on the Define Mappings button, and if we notice the settings is set to Previous, which means that it's going to use the previous import settings that we defined earlier. So let's double check that. If I open my Cost Item Identification section, I can see that my position code, description, quantity, unit of measure have all been set. If I open my cost item labels, tags, and assignments, I can see that my cost source is still pulling from the field that indicates it's a plug type cost. And if I look at my cost item plug costs section, I can see that I have my subcontract price mapped to my total column. Click OK. Click Import. Again, we'll be prompted to save. Click Yes. Now if I look at my changeable message board item, I can see that my plug cost has been updated from $50 per unit to $30 per unit. Click OK. Open the PBS Changes log, and we can see the last item in here has been changed from 50 to 30, and we can see the impact that that change has had on our bid. Click OK. We're going to close the PBS Changes register. The final enhancement I want to show you is how you can link to hard dollar data from Microsoft Excel, specifically job total fields. This is a particularly useful feature when certain calculations are based on overall job cost or overall job duration. For example, we charge our job site trailer to the job on a monthly basis, and the total duration of the project will determine how long the job site trailer resource will need to be utilized. Using the linking feature of Excel, I can link to an HD field that gives me the total project duration in days, perform a calculation in Excel, and return the number of months as a linked field on the employment of that resource. This way, if the duration of the project increases, my duration-driven indirect costs also increase automatically. Let's look at an example. Open the project's active workbook by selecting Tools, Workbook, Open Active Jobs Workbook. In this particular project, I've already modified the workbook by creating a worksheet tab named JO Indirect Costs. You can see that I have in here a relatively simple formula to determine how many months I'll be working on the project. I simply take my number of project days, in this case it's inputted as 10, and I divide it by 21.75 days per month. In this case it comes up to a half a month. The first thing we will do is link to the field in HD that we want to use to determine the total project duration. In the CBS, let's look at our job row and find our total duration in days. We can see that it's 680.4 days. Right-click and click Link this field to Excel. The Link to Excel dialog box pops up, and we can notice that the Update Excel from HD is checked, but the Update HD from Excel is not. That's because this is a calculated field and we can't change the value of the calculated field. Scroll through our list here, and let's select JO underscore indirect costs underscore days. This is the named range which refers to a field in my Excel workbook that is going to have the number of days on the project. Click OK. We can see that we have a green hyperlink now for our total days duration. This hyperlink indicates that the field is being referenced by the project's active workbook. Now if we look at Excel, we can see that the project days has been automatically updated with the value that's being calculated in HD. The last step will be to link our job site trailer resource quantity to the value our Excel workbook is calculating. In the CBS, find cost item 22.2, trailer rent. Notice we currently have 1 month set up as its forecast quantity. Right-click on that field and link this field to Excel. In this case, we want to update the HD field from the data that we're getting from Excel. So we'll change our option up here, and we will find our JO_indirect cost calculator, which is the named range pointing to the field in the workbook that I want to use as the value to calculate. So I will click that, and I will click OK. And we'll be prompted that we want to change total costs or change unit costs. We want to change the total cost of this item, so click OK. And we can see that our value in hard dollar has been updated to 31.28, which is the value that is calculated in Microsoft Excel. We also notice that it is a blue hyperlink here, which indicates that hard dollar is pulling this information from a field in Microsoft Excel. As you can see, hard dollar version 13 provides improved functionality for connecting you with data in Microsoft Excel and enables users to more easily and efficiently build and manage projects. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.